Hello, my front-end friends. A little bit of a different video today where we're going to be talking a bit about a problem with the current design software we have for designing for websites because of a disconnect those software have with how styles are done compared to how CSS works. And not only that though, and there's always going to be disconnects between design software and the programming language, which is fine, and I'm not bothered by that. But I realized while I was taking a shower last night, of all times, but what's important here is this problem specifically that I'm going to be talking about is something that was actually solved at least 15 years ago, if not longer, with design software by Adobe called InDesign. And there might have been solutions even within Quark before this. I didn't use a ton of Quark and I don't really remember it too well. For those who don't know, well, first of all, this is InDesign, and just in case you don't know, I actually come from a print design background where I used InDesign a lot. It's one of my favorite programs. I really love working with InDesign. It's a really nice bit of software and really, really powerful. And here's a template that I'd created back when I was teaching in school. This is probably at least 10 years old, this document. But if we come and take a look at the top here, there's a thing where it says body text right there. And like here, if I come in here, I can select it all. And these are the different styles I can apply to the text that I have. And my body text style is here. And it looks a little bit different, but you can do that in Figma. And we're going to see an example of that in a bit, but you can create styles and apply them to the text. That's not the problem. All the styles I have for my text are saved in here, so I can go and take a look, and there's a lot of stuff you can do in here. It's really, really awesome. But you can see like my font family, my font styles, all those things are saved here with the font sizes. But let's say I came on this one right here. I can select this one, and I can actually go here and I can say this is my first paragraph. And if I select first paragraph, it's the bigger version of this, which you'd sort of expect. But let's go back over to the body text, not my first paragraph, but the regular body text there. And I'm going to edit this one. And when I edit my body text here, I'm going to go to my character formats, and let's just choose Mrs. Eves right here. We'll choose that one, and I'm going to push OK. And it's going to change my body text to a serif font because Mrs. Eves is serif. But if you notice, this one up here also changed. And this wouldn't happen if I was in Figma. And again, we'll see why that is in a second. But if I say I come here and I select this, I also have character styles. You can think of character styles a bit like span stuff, like inline spans or whatever. So I can like change the color of my text, for example. And I can come here and I can just change the color of the text. And the only thing it's going to change with character styles, it's a lot like a span would be in CSS, where it's only going to change the things you're telling it to. So it's going to keep all the font styles that were applied to that. And if I come, there's less controls here for these because it's not paragraph styles, it's individual character ones, like a span or other inline element would be used for. And I can come in here and I can change specific things. So I'm not changing my font family, my font style, my font size. The only thing this one is changing is the color and nothing else. So you could do that obviously with a class. And if you wanted to, you could even have like classes that build off of other classes. So there is a based on here, but really, the important thing with this is that the only thing I'm choosing to change is the color, and it's going to keep all the other character stylings the same way you would do with a class on an inline element in CSS, right? So that's really useful. And like this doesn't just apply for the basic things. You can see I have bullets here, and if I have a numbered list and bulleted list and numbered titles and all these other things, where that same thing is going on. So if I come and take a look at my bullets are also based on the body text, and it's going to keep all the styling as much as possible from the body text, but it's going to make it into a bulleted list. And then I can change different things if I want, like adding the bullets, but I could also make it bold or change a font size. And it's only going to make those specific changes a little bit like a modifier class would do if you're writing some CSS. The problem with other software like Figma, and Figma's not the only one, even I'm pretty sure XD worked the same way, and that's by Adobe. But if I came in here, and right now, if I look here, I do have a body text, and it's really small, the UI. I don't know if there's a way in Figma to make the UI bigger for videos. If you know how, please leave a comment, let me know. But here where I have this body style applied, you can say I have a body large, and that's fine. I can make my body larger that way. But the problem is, let's say I wanted to create a new body style, I have to unlink it here. So I have to break that link and then create a new style and then add styling in there. Or like here where I made a bold style, so I can come into here and I can switch this over to my body bold, and it makes that text bold. That's completely fine. But it's not linked to my body styles, right? So if I came and I edit the style, so let's go to my body, and let's change the body from Inter here to Abyssinthia, or whatever that is. It changed that font, but it had no impact on these other ones. The fonts that were still set, my large is still the large with the other font family. The bold is still bold of the other font family. Those styles aren't linked at all. And to me, that's really disappointing that this is how it works, because again, I think if we're making things that are designing for the web, that the closer these relationships can be to how the websites work, the better. And this is something that's even like with the component-based design where you can do that, right? You can have a component and then make a variation of that component. But for whatever reason, we don't have it with our texts and even our colors. Within InDesign, I can do the same thing with a color where I can have my purple color and I can make a lighter version of that and have that based on that purple color, and then just modify the purple, and it modifies all those colors that are based on that purple. It's really, really awesome, and it's really powerful. When I was taking that shower, I was thinking about this problem with Figma on like that disconnect between how character styles and font styles work within the world of CSS. Because I'd been having a conversation with somebody about how like some developers will just open up a Figma file and copy and paste the CSS that it's creating, and how that's kind of problematic because it writes way more CSS than you need, and some of it's a bit problematic, even though there's good bits that can be in there. But I think if we had this relationship that was a bit more clear and more similar to how CSS actually works, it would probably output much better code as well if we wanted to go down that route, which, you know, I'm not going to advocate for one way or the other. But it also, I think, would make the closer we can get these things to work, the better it is also for the designers, who are then thinking more in a similar way to how the developers are thinking. And I think this would just be a win in general, even for the designers, instead of having to rely on plugins to like mass update a font family or something, which seems really annoying. But it's, as I was thinking of that, I was like, wait, I could do that in InDesign forever ago when I still did print stuff. That's kind of crazy. And then I opened up that file and started playing with it. And I'm like, yeah, I can do all of these things. And I remember when I was making those files, I would think about how I was creating those styles in the way that I would write CSS, and it just worked, and it was so nice. And all these things that were just built on top of each other, and it gave you so much more control over everything you were doing instead of just each individual style being completely independent of the other, because that's just not how things work. Yeah, a bit of a different video today. I'm not solving anything. I'm just more ranting, I guess, than anything else. Maybe the Figma developers will hear this, or some other UI design developers will hear this. And maybe there's other UI design software out there that does this already that I just don't know about. So if that is the case, please leave a comment down below, though I'm sure you already have if you know of one. But yeah, I think it's something that could definitely be improved on. And so a bit of a different video for this week, but something I wanted to rant about a little bit. And I don't often use my platform for that type of thing, but felt like doing it this time around. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. And a very big thank you to my enablers of awesome, Andrew, Philip, Simon, and Tim, as well as all my other patrons and channel members for their monthly support. And of course, until next time, don't forget to make your corner of the internet just a little bit more awesome.